Greetings, Mr. Miltos Yerolemou. Welcome to Timişoara's online platform. You are the guest of honor at the Galactic Imaginarium Film Festival. Are you a fan of science fiction movies?
Yes, I would pretty much say that if there was a genre that I enjoyed the most would be science fiction. I always have. I think but it's a childhood obsession. When I was my very first memory is having a Neil Armstrong kind of action man figure. And that was my very first memory. It's my first memory. And so that says a lot, I think.
So, okay, well, if an alien would ask from you, hey, Miltos, my friend, what are humankind's best science fiction movies? What would you answer?
So there's so many. Silent Running. I really like, pretty much my favorite film of all time is probably Alien.
Mm-hmm. Well, but nowadays, not just the science fiction movies, but mainly everywhere in film industry, they use a lot of CGI techniques, and Game of Thrones is quite a good example. Well, you fought with real people, but your colleagues had to fight with dragons. How is for an actor to interact with CGI beings which they don't see?
So I'm very lucky. I very rarely had to do any of that.
What are your colleagues say?
I know what it's like because I did it on a BBC documentary. It was called Walking with Dinosaurs. And I had to get run over and flung in the air by a woolly rhino, a prehistoric rhinoceros. And of course, we didn't have a prehistoric rhinoceros. So we had a bungee. And I was tied to the end of the bungee, and the bungee was obviously, I think they were using blue or green, one of the two colors for the special effects. And all I had to do is run with all my might away until the bungee got taut. And then I had to jump up in the air at the same time as they yanked me back. And then they superimposed the rhino, obviously, in post-production. So it looked like it hit me and made me fly backwards. That was
it's kind of
really
hard.
painful. So I would say that it's. I mean, no actor likes working with CGI or green screen. No one. I would not believe an actor if they said that they did, because it's kind of the antithesis of what we think we do, which is it's all about storytelling. And as much as we, of course, use our imaginations, and we can also do it when we have to imagine that we're staring at a dragon in front of us, we can do that. But I think the best work comes from intimacy. I think that's the medium. It's intimate. It's intimate because you are the person who's watching. So there's something very personal about it. But it's also because it deals with human relationships. And even science fiction, the best science fiction, deals with human relationships.
Well, you have a reputation of being a theater actor in England, and you play a lot of...
I'm really old school.
You play a lot of Shakespearean characters on stage, which I read. But on the other hand, worldwide, you are known as Syrio from Game of Thrones. Which one is closer to you, stage or screen?
They're both very, very different. And so it's hard to compare them because they're so different. But I like both equally. And the more I do of filming, the more I enjoy the process. I think I've always enjoyed the process. I get terrible stage fright, even though everything I usually do on stage is quite confident.
So you vote on stage?
I love it. I love it. It's exhilarating. There's no doubt about it. That fear is exhilarating. But I don't know how much I enjoy it so much anymore. Filming is very different because it's so technical. But if you're a nerd and you're into that kind of thing, then filming is really exciting. As long as you can get your head around. So this is the reason why I talk about, if you're a nerd, you really like filming, because if you're like me, I enjoy the process because I like watching what other people do. And because I have aspirations to be a director myself, I really get a lot out of watching the process. I've got a little dog in the background.
Let's change the topic. You were asked to participate at this Galactic Imaginarium Film Festival, and a lot of films are screened online because of COVID-19. A lot of cinemas are closed all over the world, or if they are opened, then maybe people are asked to wear masks. So nowadays, a lot of films are being watched home. What do you think? Will this pandemic change our film watching habits?
I'll be honest, it might do, but I don't know. I think it's more a question of, you know, what the next couple of years are going to be like, because the next couple of years is really what we're looking at when we come to how we get, that's my dog, Louis, how we get to go about our lives as normally, you know, as we possibly can during this time, because, you know, vaccine or not, it's going to take time to administer it. And so a lot of these things are I think, may become, you know, that we maybe get used to watching, not going to the movies, but you also know that human beings are notoriously social. That's why we have this pandemic, because that's how it spread. So I think when people when people feel it's safe to go back to the cinema, when people feel it's safe to go back to the theater, I think they'll go back in droves. I think they will go back in droves. But the long-term implication of film, I think it was always heading this way anyway. So, you know, we are getting used to watching things on our TVs, and our TVs are getting bigger, and, you know, so all of that, I think, has an effect. But, you know, it was healthy before. I think people can't resist going to the cinema. I think there is something magical about going to watch a movie with
it's about the community, not just the film. Yeah. Well, at this film festival, as I read, you will teach a sword fighting technique called water dancing. It basically became your brand. You present it almost all over the world. Why do you like it?
I like it because it's difficult. I like it because I've always been drawn to martial arts. One of the very first movies I ever saw was The Big Boss, Bruce Lee's Big Boss. My dad took me to see it. I think I was only 8. I was far too young, but it left a very lasting impression on me. And so that is the discipline of that, because I'm not very disciplined. The discipline of it is something that I get a lot out of. So I am no expert. And I have to always make that clear. I'm just an actor who's got experience of working with some fantastic sword and fight choreographers. And that's the only thing I bring, is my experience.
Okay, so here's a quick recap. People can meet you online on 26th and 27th at the Galactic Imaginarium Film Festival. Tickets are available online. Thank you for the interview, and see you on Saturday.
My pleasure. I'm looking forward to it.